I'm happy. I'm happy. The last three films have been diabolical. But we're back on track. We're back on track with this powerful, racially charged, passionate, emotional, dark, sexy, thought-provoking film. Queen and Slim. What's going on, peeps? Welcome, welcome. Another episode of Filmy Thoughts. Click that subscribe button, please. Trying to grow these followers. We're back, as promised. We're back on the track of good films. The last three, as I said before, shocking. Shocking. But we're back. Queen and Slim. A very dark, passionate, sexy film. Racially motivated as well. It's quite an interesting film. I really enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I reckon it's a must see. Actually, it's really good. Had a female director as well. The cast, Queen and Slim, both British, acting American, done it very well, very very well. I thought the film was dope. The film was cold. Again, the missus brought to tears, but I understand why. I get it. You know, it's difficult to watch black oppression, and to know that these things are still going on over in the United States of America, all over the world really, but specifically United States of America. So I've said that to say this, which is the brief synopsis. So basically, Slim goes out on a blind date with Queen. I think they met on the internet. Let's say something like Tinder, and they go out to eat. On the way home, Slim's taking Queen home. They get stopped by the police. This police officer seems to have an agenda. He seems to have a bee in his bonnet, so he's provoking trouble. But at the same time, I can't even lie to you, Queen is also provoking trouble. She happens to be an attorney, a lawyer, so she knows the deal. And she is really, really getting on this police officer's nerves. The fact that she is well educated, she's black, and she's basically telling him, I can get you fired. So one thing leads to another, and the police officer ends up dying. Queen and Slim go on the run because they've decided, you know, we've killed a police officer in self-defense, but they will never believe that in the justice system. So we have to go on the run. As a result, they then hatch a plan, an idea of where they want to go, and they start to do what that plan is. Across the nation, though, they are looked at as heroes by the black people, as liberating them. It's like the Black Bonnie and Clyde. It's the best way to summarize those two. But it was really good because you could see both the characters grow as this film goes on, and I suppose you just have to tip your hat off to the two actors who done phenomenally well. Queen, I've never seen her acting before, but she actually stole the show. You can see the emotion in every scene in her face, the confusion, the scaredness, the fear. And she became more bold, just as Slim did as well. Slim was a bit of a punk at the beginning of the film, a bit of a pushover, you know, let Queen kind of push him around. But you can see him start to take on the role of being a criminal sought by the law, as well as a hero by his own people. And he starts to really take on that role, which you could visibly see. The director done a good job as well in finding the best way and angles to express their emotions throughout the whole film. There wasn't 1 minute when I was bored. I just wanted to know what was going to happen next, Funnily enough, even though it's such a dark and serious film, I thought it was quite funny as well. It wasn't only me, people in the audience were also laughing. But it was good because it was able to break the ice in some parts. Before it got too deep, it also allowed you to see things from a lighter side of things, and to really take in all the perspectives from all different walks of life. I mean, you had ex-servicemen that were helping them, whether they were white or black. You know, they understood what had happened, and they knew that it was, well, they felt that it was wrong, but at the same time, they were willing to help. And then you had, for instance, a black person who was completely against what had happened and wanted them to be found and brought to justice through the right way. Whereas other black people was screaming black power and trying to, you know, kickstart the Black Panthers again, because they felt like they were being liberated through Queen and Slim. Deep films like this usually have a couple gems in it, and this one did not disappoint. It definitely had a couple gems in it. But the coldest one, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's a bit of a spoiler, but not really actually. It's just a line within the film, so it doesn't really tell you what's going on. But obviously, this was the line. This was the line, right? So, I'm going to set a scene for you quickly. Queen is getting her wound attended to. Something has happened. She's injured. She's getting her wound attended to by a woman who has a pimp, right? And that pimp just happens to be Queen's uncle. Queen and the uncle don't see eye to eye. Queen can't stand her uncle. Boom. You find out why in the film. I'm not going to tell you why. So Queen says to the girl, you know, I'm surprised you lot love him so much. And the prostitute responds with an absolute gem, right? Because it's a double entendre. So she says, out there, your uncle ain't shit. But here, when he's at home, he's the king. And it sounds simple, but I was taken aback, considering it's a film about race, right? And it's basically the black man in America. When they're out on the road, they're not shit. No one cares about them. But when they're at home, they're king of their castle. And I thought that was cold. That was cold. One thing it did do as well, it definitely showed the fragility of the relationships between the black community and the police within America. We all already know how fragile that relationship is, but that was definitely shown within this film. Even the black people within the police force didn't know what side to kind of be on in that situation, which is, again, interesting. I know we've got the same issues over here, but our police force don't carry guns. They carry the next best thing, which are tasers. But I really liked it. I found it so interesting that the director was able to make such a racially motivated and racially charged film, and quite dark as well, be so sexy and elegant. I don't know how she done it, but I thought that was cold. There's certain shots in that film I just thought, that's kind of sexy, you know? I felt like I wanted to be a Bonnie and Clyde with my missus. But we wouldn't get too far, I'll be honest. She's not built like that. It's not me. I'm not the problem. It's her. I joke. I really wanted a second one of this film. I really think there should have been a second one of this film where they get caught, and because she's a lawyer and they strongly believe it was self-defense, it was caught on camera, the whole lot, it's then brought through the justice system. And she obviously fights the case to try and get off innocent, to try and be exonerated. But that would have been good, because then it would take you through that journey as well. And on a nationwide front, it would also open up the whole conversation between all different walks of life, whether you're Asian, you're black, you're white, no matter what your background is, whether you're upper class or lower class, whether you're from the slums or working class, but you're all having that conversation and a debate about whether what they did is classed as self-defense. I think a second version to that, and it being that storyline I just mentioned, would have been cold. But yeah, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. For me, I'm going to give this film a 4.5 out of 5. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So well done to all of those that were involved. And last but not least, it was a really good way to end the January films that I watched. The last 3 had me a bit worried. We started so well. Some great films beginning of January, and then it just dropped through this floor. But this last film has put faith back into all the films that came out in January. So on to February. Let's keep it moving. Whether it's the morning, the evening, the nighttime, the afternoon, or the daytime, I hope you're all blessed. Take care.